Welcome to Show and Tell Saturdays on Tea Time with Afternoon Social. Join me as we hear from my guest for the week as she tells us about her business, products, services, podcasts, and other fun stuff. Grab your favorite cup of tea. It's party time.
Afternoon, and welcome back to Tea Time with Afternoon Social. I'm Teresa Lauterbach, your host. And today is Show and Tell Saturdays. We've been talking with Anna Zugheri this weekend. She's shared some fantastic, wonderful information. So go back and check out the other two videos if you haven't seen those already. And today she's going to highlight more of her business and her podcast and the things that she's kind of up to, and kind of tell us more about what is going on in her world. So, hi Anna, how are you today?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you have tracked with us this last 3 days, it's been so much fun. Really, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're here with us. Now, she's the founder of Faith 52. We heard a little bit about on Thursday, but kind of consulting things that you do in that business, and how can you help with other women, and what's your podcast, what kind of topics do we cover in there? So I'll just kind of turn it over to you to kind of fill us and tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. So, yeah, Faith 52 started as a children's ministry, was revamped, and now it's I call it online ministry because I do a little bit of everything. I help, mainly my demographics of my audience is women over 40. And I do have a couple of gentlemen that also I have helped with starting their own podcast or live streaming or how to record videos. And I think that the difference that my ministry brings is that I do one-on-one more than a group setting, because we all are in different walks of this journey, and sometimes it's really hard to try to figure out things in a group setting. So I especially work with nonprofit organizations that want to learn how to do a strategy for social media and how to get their voice out there of what they're doing, because there's a lot of people that are doing great things, and because they don't have the knowledge or the manpower to do these things, they're kind of stuck. So I help them out with that. I also serve sometimes as producer, where people have wrote books or have a product that they want to show up, and they want to go live. So they're not distracted with the technical stuff and how to manage the banners and like the chat and all that. So they're doing their thing while I'm managing everything backstage. And my podcast, So Basic with a Little Extra, that's kind of like my favorite thing, I would say, about all of it. I record stories. It's released every Tuesday. I tell basic stories because I feel like I am just a basic girl. Like, this is what you get. Yeah, I don't do a lot of makeup, very hardly. I'll go do my nails because I feel like it's such a waste of time sitting there for 2 hours. And so yeah, I'm pretty basic. So I tell stories, that of things, experiences that have happened to me. And my intro is that I making this podcast to bring you a little extra inspiration, extra encouragement, or an extra laugh because sometimes I say things that are just funny, or at least I think they're funny. And then I integrate them with a topic. So every month I have a different topic depending on what's going on in my life. Like last month, my daughter started high school, and I was panicking because I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I didn't have any idea. And so I invited people that are experts in dealing with teenagers, right? Like I had a youth pastor, a teacher, um, an author that wrote a book about how to communicate. What are some techniques that we can apply? And so people that have something to do with that month's topic, right? And then I tell my basic story, and I grab that snip of the interview, and hopefully it's an inspiration or an encouragement for people that listened, or they laugh a little. Yeah.
I'm all about the laughing too.
Yes, I think it's the best medicine.
Yes. So what are some of the topics that you got planned for coming up on your podcast here?
Yeah, so this month of September, I am talking about avoda. Avoda is a Hebrew word that means to live a seamless life between work, service, and worship. So a lot of people I've discovered, people that I've talked to, is that, they go to church on Sundays, but on Monday, when they have to show up from work, they forget about what they learned on Sunday. Or, they go through the whole week without having anything to do with their prayer time, or their prayer time is separate, and then just go to work, right? And this word, what it tells us is that no, you bring Jesus to work with you. You bring him and you demonstrate your Christianity or your relationship with the Lord by the way that you communicate with others, by the way that you treat your boss and your co-workers. Are you gossiping during coffee time, like all that kind of stuff? So that's what I'm talking about. So I had already an entrepreneur that her business just picked up like big time, and she does no advertising at all. It's just word of mouth. And I'm like, what is happening? And she's like, it's because of God. It's because of God. So she came and talked to us about that. And then last week, who did I have? Kennedy Castillo. She's also a podcaster fella, but she has a podcast that talks about culture. So I was asking her, how much do you think that culture has to do with the ethics that you bring to work and the faith? And it was a fantastic conversation. She's so sweet. And this coming Thursday, I'm talking about networking. So I have a guest that's going to be talking about networking in the workplace, and then a realtor, the last one. And so, yeah, I have for October, we're talking about preparing our hearts for holidays. In December, of course, Christmas. So,
yeah, we'll have some fun things. I was going back in some of my old podcasts. And when I first got started, I started with my sister and my sister-in-law. And my sister-in-law, we did a Christmas one. It was really kind of silly. She shared a recipe, and we had a great time with that. So.
Yes. Oh, I love those.
Yeah, so Christmas time's a fun time to get off the beaten path a little bit. And
right. Yes, and do fun things.
Yeah. Like you said, you were doing your ministry with children, doing all your crafts, and so it's maybe that'll give you some inspiration to cover in your podcast.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So you do one-on-one consulting as well with individual ladies, then, and not just with ministry leaders, but also entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Whoever wants to learn, and I'm no expert, but I've been in the game for a little while, and I've encountered a couple of challenges learning in several platforms that I'm like, oh my gosh, I bought this thing and I didn't even need it. I'm just going by the training that I'm finding, and I feel like everyone has to be tailored to what they want to do and the things that they have in hand, right? Like there's there's things like, for example, people sometimes they focus on buying the fanciest, camera, and they have no microphone. And sound is one of the biggest things. Like, so people will forget the video but not the sound. So that kind of thing, like if you have X amount of money, you're gonna invest it on a microphone rather than a camera, and then just upgrade, but try things and and see if you like it, because like we were talking a little bit offline that it is work. It is work. So if you don't like it, that might turn down your creativity, and this thing, I think it has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, and that is the biggest key. We talk about gifts and talents and things. It's going to be something that you're going to be passionate about. And
right.
If you're not, you're not going to do it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but when I started it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to release an episode every week. And then that next week it's like, oh, my daughter has soccer. I don't have time for this. Or like, nobody's going to notice. I'll do it next week. And then when 2 weeks without it, and then a month, and I'm like, oh, this is. So if you're not consistent, if you don't have also somebody that, you can bounce that accountability from, it's very hard. Very, very hard.
And that's one thing we got to be careful of when we're on the online world. We end up by ourselves all the time.
Exactly.
Trying to do it alone.
Yeah.
It is harder to connect through a camera.
Exactly. And I am a firm believer of collaboration. I mean, like I've been in a couple of groups, Facebook groups, and I'm like, okay, I'm here to learn and and to share. And then it's like, okay, well, hold on, I'm not gonna give out my ideas. And I'm like, well, but this is what we're doing, right? And I think that even if you end up doing the same thing I'm doing, you have your own personality, your own audience, your own thing. So you do find a lot of that too. So it's not just the technology, it's not just the strategy, but it's also knowing yourself and the confidence that you're getting from well, in my case, because I am very vocal with my faith, from God. If God tells me not to do this, I need to stop.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing they try to say. Don't ever give up, don't quit. And I'm like, well, sometimes you have to, because you're doing the wrong thing.
Right. Right. And there might be occasions that you don't have to stop it completely, but take your time, pause, and regroup, and then come back.
Well, and like you said about sharing your information and things, it all comes from a different perspective anyway. It doesn't matter if you letting out your secrets,
right,
but you're actually helping other people. That's one thing God wants us to do too, is to help and encourage other people. So keeping those secrets is it's like, no, you're not going to be taken advantage of.
Exactly. No, I totally believe it's a mutual gain every time you share something.
Right, because once you've shared, somebody else will be like, oh yeah, and they can give you some of the stuff. You'll get things in return as well when you're doing that sharing. So it's definitely not a world to stay stuck in and do it on your own.
Exactly. And it's the uniquely you, right?
Right.
Like, I don't think, even if I tried, that I could pull off your hat. Like it wouldn't work for me, I don't think. But you're rocking it. It works really. I love it, and you look really pretty. I love the color and everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could wear a hat. And I would need to, because look at this hair. I mean, like I should try, but
that's one of the things that I don't share a lot about is when the health things was that I'm actually going through chemo right now. I have stage 4 cancer, so my hair looks like a chia pet. So, so when I got to get on camera,
yeah,
I got to do something. But
well, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, like you said, we got our own personalities, our own things that we want to do. And
Yeah.
so
That's true.
I think we're headed out of time here, but I'm so glad that you joined us here for this weekend. And we'll be hopefully hearing more from Anna later on. And if you want to contact her, I'm going to have all of our information in the comments so that you can work with her and collaborate. So thank you again for joining us, Anna, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.